Hello good folks of the Vinyl community, this is Mike, PC31, the Vinyl Policeman. This is a contest entry for George Allen's LPs and CDs. George has put a contest together to crack through the 400 barrier, and last time I saw George was at 419, so he smashed that completely. This is a really late entry actually, so sorry George, I've been meaning to do this for a few days, but or a few weeks actually. I hadn't got around to it, but I really wanted to do it. So what George wants was singer-songwriters, 3 to 5 albums to be shown, and a strict time limit of five minutes, which is understandable because George wants to make sure he watches every moment of every video. So I shall completely respect the 5 minutes, George. And because of that, I'm only going to do 3 albums. Singer-songwriters, so the first one that springs to mind for me, which is absolutely my top singer-songwriter by a mile, is Bruce Springsteen. But I noticed that a lot of people have shown, I've seen Tom Joad and Nebraska, which I would have shown as the acoustic ones. So I won't show those, but Bruce is the best in that respect. But I've chosen 3 others, which I think you'll quite like. The first one is from 2001, the 11th album from Nick Cave from Victoria in Australia. This is an absolutely fantastic album. No More Shall We Part, as I say, from 2001, and there's some great tracks on it. It was the next one after Boatman's Core, which was a really good album, but I actually prefer this one. I know a lot of people really like Boatman's Core. Nick Cave at the time was coming out of a really bad time of heroin, and he was in quite a bad place, but he pulled himself together to write and make this album. And there's some just fantastic tracks in this album. Because of the time, I'm just going to focus on one, maybe 2. One track on this, which I'm going to put a link in below, because for me, at this moment in time, it's the greatest love song ever written, in my opinion. That'll change tomorrow, but at the moment, it's a fantastic song, and I absolutely love it, and I've done for a long time. A song called Love Letter. And it's a beautiful song, so I'm going to put a link in, but it's such a clever little love song. And I mean, there's so many great ones which I could go through, but Love Letter, brilliant song. Another great song actually is God Is in the House. And with the Bad Seeds on this, you've got the wonderful Warren Ellis, who I love, who plays violin amongst other things. But his violin solo on God Is in the House, which is just on the edge of falling apart, which is really fragile and perfect, is great. On Love Letter, the strings on that are absolutely fantastic. Really good album. Second one I'm going to show is quite timely because it's on the 10th of June. There's a box sets coming out. There's going to be Super Deluxe box sets of Madman Across the Water, Elton John. And this is Elton's 4th album, 1971. 1971, I think Elton had actually done, this was his 3rd album of the year. The first 2, one was a soundtrack, Friends, and the other one was a live album. But the first studio album, the studio album before this was Tumbleweed Connection, and Honky Chateau came after this. But the fantastic tracks on this. Tiny Dancer and Levin's the one which probably everybody would know, because Tiny Dancer was first single, then Levin. I think Levin was only released in the US, but it was a single. But the track on it I love is Madman Across the Water and Indian Sunset, which starts off with a little bit of strings, but then it's an a cappella start from Elton. But 6 minutes 45 seconds, really long track, a narrative track about Red Indians, and absolutely fantastic. This is I believe this is First Press. And you've got a little booklet inside with all the lyrics and various things. But as I say, there's the 50th anniversary edition, comes out on the 10th of June, about 8 months late, I think. But looking forward to that. Right, I'm going to crack on because I haven't got long left. And the final one I'm going to show is the debut album from the wonderful Elvis Costello. I think he's a brilliant singer-songwriter. Always loved Elvis. His debut album, he was the first person to sign to Stiff Records, although this was the 11th release on the Stiff label by any artist. He was signed by Stiff originally, I think, to be a songwriter for Dave Edmunds, but then his songs were so strong. The track I was going to focus on this one was In fact, I haven't got time, so I won't do that. But fantastic album. What more did I want to say about this one? Clover with a backing band on this one. This is pre The Attractions, and Nick Lowe produced it. Nick Lowe obviously so synonymous with Elvis and with Stiff Records. So, okay, there we are, George. Quick entry. That's 3 singer-songwriters for me. Thanks very much. And subscribe to George. Let's get him to 500. Thanks. Bye.